My wife said I wasn't fun, as her friends, so I stopped going out with her. Now she wants a separation, throwaway account because, well, you'll see. And my wife is a Redditor, so Reddit, AITA. I'm seriously questioning my sanity right now. I, M31, have been married to my wife, Lisa F29, for 4 years. We've been together for 7. Generally, we have a good relationship, I thought. We communicate well, or so I thought. We support each other's careers, we have a good balance of shared interests and separate hobbies. But there's this one thing that's been causing a major rift lately. Lisa has a close-knit group of friends, mostly single women who she's known since college. They're all very outgoing. They love to go out clubbing, bar hopping, dancing, the whole 9 yards. I'm more of an introvert. I'm not antisocial, I just prefer smaller gatherings, quiet evenings at home, or maybe a nice dinner with a few close friends. Honestly, I'm more of a board games and craft beer kind of guy. Before we got married, and even in the early years of our marriage, I used to go out with Lisa and her friends sometimes. I'd try to be a good sport, even though it wasn't really my scene. I figured it was important to her, and I wanted to be supportive. I'd dance a little, badly, make small talk, and generally try to blend in. But honestly, I always felt a bit out of place, like a chaperone, or a designated driver, or that awkward uncle at a high school party. Then about 6 months ago, we were at a bar with her friends, and Lisa had had a few drinks. Okay, maybe more than a few. She was laughing and joking with her friends, and at one point she turned to me, put her arm around me, and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "This is my amazing husband. He's the best, even if he's not exactly the life of the party." She laughed, a little too loud, and her friends laughed, and I just smiled, a tight, fake smile. But inside, I felt this knot in my stomach, like I'd just swallowed a golf ball. Later that night, as we were getting ready for bed, she said something else. We were talking about how one of her friends, Sophia, had met a cute guy at the bar. Lisa said, "Ugh, I wish you were more like that. You know, more outgoing, more fun. It's like you're here, but you're not really here, you know? You're like a ghost, a boring ghost." I didn't say anything at the time. I just brushed it off, told myself she was drunk, that she didn't mean it. But her words, they stuck with me. They burrowed their way into my brain and festered, like a splinter you can't get out. The next morning, I tried to talk to her about it. I said, "Hey Lisa, about last night, what you said about me not being fun, it kind of hurt my feelings. Like, a lot." She looked at me, genuinely confused, like she had no idea what I was talking about. "What? What are you talking about? Did I say something?" I reminded her of her comments. She rolled her eyes and said, "Oh my God, my name. You're being way too sensitive. I was just joking. You know I love you. You're just not the party type. It's not a big deal. It's not like I want you to be some club rat." "It is a big deal to me," I said. "It makes me feel like you're not happy with who I am, like you wish I was someone else, like I'm not enough." She sighed, a big, dramatic sigh. "Don't be dramatic. I'm happy with you. Sometimes I wish you'd loosen up a little. Have some fun. It's not a crime to want your husband to enjoy going out with you, is it? Don't you think I get tired of always going out with the girls?" We went back and forth, but it didn't really go anywhere. She kept saying I was overreacting, that I was being too sensitive, that I was taking a joke too seriously. I kept saying that her words hurt, that I felt undervalued, that I felt like she was comparing me unfavorably to other people. And I don't know, maybe I was overreacting, but it felt real. So after that, I made a decision. I told her, calmly but firmly, that I wasn't going to go out with her on her girls' nights anymore. I said, "Lisa, I'm not going to force myself to be someone I'm not. I'm not going to pretend to enjoy something I don't. And I'm definitely not going to go out with you just to be the butt of your jokes, or to feel like a third wheel. You can go out with your friends, have fun. I'm not stopping you. I'm not trying to control you, but I'm not going to be there. I'm done." She was pissed. She accused me of being controlling, of punishing her, of trying to isolate her from her friends. She said I was being childish and immature. She said I was ruining our social life. "What will people think?" she said, like that was the most important thing. I told her that wasn't my intention at all. It wasn't. I said I was simply setting a boundary. I was choosing to prioritize my own emotional well-being. I told her I loved her. But I couldn't keep putting myself in situations where I felt uncomfortable and disrespected. I told her it felt like she didn't even like me sometimes. So, now she goes out with her friends, and I stay home. And honestly, it's kinda nice. I can relax, read a book, watch a movie, and work on my hobbies. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. I don't have to force a smile and make small talk with people I have nothing in common with. But I also feel lonely and resentful, and I worry about what this is doing to our marriage. I feel like we're drifting apart, like we're living separate lives. I also keep thinking to myself, are we even compatible anymore? So, Reddit, AITA, am I being unreasonable? Am I overreacting? Am I the asshole for refusing to go out with my wife anymore, even though I know it makes her unhappy? I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I want to be a good husband, but I also need to protect my own feelings. I don't know what to do anymore. Update 1. Okay, Reddit, things have escalated, and not in a good way. I wasn't expecting this to blow up so much, but I guess family drama or marital drama is relatable. Thanks for all the NTA votes. It really helps to know I'm not completely crazy or, completely overreacting. Maybe just a little overreacting, but justifiably so. So, after that huge fight with Lisa, and after reading all your comments, seriously, there were so many. You guys are like my own personal army of validation, and I appreciate it more than you know. I decided I needed to have a serious conversation with her. A real conversation, not just another shouting match. We sat down, and I laid it all out. I told her that this wasn't just about the not fun comment. It wasn't just about one night, one drunken remark. It was about a pattern of behavior, a pattern of subtle digs, judgmental comments, and a general sense of disapproval. Like I was constantly being measured against some impossible standard and always coming up short. I reminded her of all the times she'd made snide remarks. Like a few months ago, we were at a family gathering, and she made this comment about how I was too quiet and that I needed to make more of an effort to talk to people in front of everyone, like I was some kind of social project she needed to fix, or the time we were watching a movie and she said, "God, you're such a nerd," my name, but not in a cute, affectionate way, in a way that made me feel small and belittled. And there was that other time when she told me her friends' boyfriends were more fun than me. Her friend's boyfriend. Seriously? And I told her it wasn't just me who noticed. I reminded her about what my mom had said after that phone call, the one where Lisa had called me boring. My mom had actually called me back later that day, worried. She'd heard the whole exchange, or at least part of it, and she'd said, "Honey, I don't like the way Lisa talks to you. It doesn't sit right with me. She sounds disrespectful." My mom, who is usually the most diplomatic person on the planet, was concerned. And if mom is concerned, you know it's bad. You know it's a red flag the size of a billboard. Lisa listened. She actually listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't make excuses. She just listened. And I could see something shifting in her eyes. Maybe she wasn't fully on board yet, but she was starting to get it. She was finally starting to see my behavior through my eyes, not through the rose-colored glasses she usually wears when it comes to her precious friends. She was starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, her fun-loving friends and her idea of fun wasn't so fun-loving after all. At least, not to me. And maybe, just maybe, she'd been a pretty shitty wife. She looked like shit, like she hadn't slept in days, which honestly made me feel a little bit guilty, but only a little, because frankly, I hadn't slept in days either. She admitted that she'd been downplaying my behavior for a while, trying to avoid conflict. I think she realized she couldn't defend it anymore. But she also said, "But I don't know what to do. My name, I love you. I don't want to lose you. But I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to be stuck at home all the time. I need to get out. I need to be me." And that's when I realized, maybe this isn't just about me. Maybe it's about her too. Maybe she's going through something she hasn't told me about, something that's making her act this way. I mean, she has seemed more stressed lately, more on edge, and her work has been crazy busy. Maybe she's just overwhelmed. I didn't know what to say to that. I didn't have any answers. I just felt confused and tired. Then, because the universe has a sick sense of humor, Lisa got a phone call right then, while we were sitting there, talking about our crumbling marriage. She looked at me, her eyes asking, "What do I do?" A look of panic. I shrugged. "Answer it," I said. "Maybe it's important." It was probably one of her friends calling to tell her how awful I was. She did, and oh boy, was that a mistake. It was one of Lisa's friends on a video call. She was slurring. She was definitely drunk. I could overhear her friend say, "Hey, are you still coming? We are waiting for you." Lisa looked panicked and said she couldn't make it, but her friend insisted, "Come on, don't be such a my name." Zrenia. She mocked my name. I was shocked, and so was Lisa. Lisa hung up. She scoffed. "Whatever," she said, and hung up. So that's where we are. My wife is still acting up, and I don't know why. I am so fucking tired. My family is not exactly in crisis mode, but it's definitely simmering. And honestly, I don't even know how I feel. Angry? Yes. Hurt? Definitely. Sad? More than I want to admit. But also relieved? Like a weight has been lifted, like I can finally breathe. I talked to my sister, she is my rock, and told me that I should stand my ground, that Lisa is being completely disrespectful. She is the only one I trust anymore. But I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Should I even try to fix this? Is it even fixable? I don't know what to do anymore. Should I just give up? I feel like I am at crossroads. Update 2. Okay, Reddit. Here we go. This is probably going to be a long one, so buckle up, grab some popcorn, and maybe a stiff drink, because this is, it's a shit show. So, after the phone call with Lisa's friend, the one where she basically called me and Lisa hung up, I was numb. I just sat there staring at the wall, trying to process everything, trying to figure out how my life had become such a disaster. The next couple of days were a blur of awkward silence and unspoken resentment. We were like two ghosts haunting the same house. Then came the day of my granny's birthday. I'd been planning to call her, maybe even try to visit if I could get my act together. But Lisa just left. No note, no text. She was just gone. I didn't hear from her all day. Then around 3 a.m., the front door opened. She stumbled in, reeking of alcohol, cigarettes, and some unfamiliar sweet, musky scent. Perfume, cologne. I had no idea she saw me sitting on the couch, and she just glared at me, like I was the one who'd done something wrong. "What?" she slurred. "What are you looking at?" I didn't say anything. I just looked at her. She scoffed and stumbled past me, heading for the bedroom. I should have just let it go. I should have just gone to bed. But I couldn't. Something inside me snapped. "Lisa," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "we need to talk." She turned around, swaying slightly. "About what? About how you're ruining my life? About how you're a controlling, jealous asshole? About how you're trying to turn me into some housewife? About how you missed my grandmother's birthday dinner?" I said. "About how you've been treating me like shit for months. About how you clearly don't give a damn about our marriage." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, here we go again. You and your grandmother. It was just a dinner. My name. Get over it." "It wasn't just a dinner, Lisa. It was important to me. It was important to my family. And you just blew it off, like it meant nothing to you." "Well, maybe it didn't mean anything to me," she shouted. "Maybe I have more important things to do than sit around with a bunch of old people and pretend to be interested in their boring lives." And that's when I lost it. More important things? Like what, Lisa? Like getting drunk with your friends? Like flirting with other guys? Like making me feel like I'm the most boring, worthless person on the planet? She laughed, a harsh, cruel laugh. "Oh, so now you're accusing me of cheating? Is that it? You're so pathetic, my name? You're so insecure? You can't even handle me having a life outside of you." "It's not about having a life, Lisa. It's about respect. It's about priorities. It's about us." I was shouting now. I couldn't help it. All the anger, all the hurt, all the resentment. It just came pouring out. She just stared at me, her eyes narrowed, a sneer on her face. "You know what, my name? I'm done. I'm done with this conversation. I'm done with you. I'm going to bed." She turned to walk away, but I grabbed her arm. Not hard, just enough to stop her. "No, Lisa," I said. "We're not done. We're far from done." And that's when she said it. The thing that broke me. The thing that made me realize there was no going back. She said, I don't know what you want from me. My name. I'm trying to be a good wife, but I also need to have a life. I need to have fun. I can't just be your housewife. I need more than that. I need excitement. I need passion. I need something more. And then a pause, a calculated, deliberate pause, a pause that felt like an eternity. Maybe if you were more exciting, I wouldn't need to go out so much. Maybe if you were more like them, I wouldn't feel so trapped. Maybe if you weren't such a boring, predictable, safe choice, I wouldn't be looking for something else. She said all of it so calmly. Them. She meant her friends. Or, more specifically, the men her friends were meeting at bars. The men she was probably flirting with. The men she was probably... I didn't even want to think about it. It was like a slap in the face and punch to the gut. A confirmation of all my worst fears. She wasn't just unhappy with our social life. She was unhappy with me. She was bored with me. She resented me. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't even raise my voice. I just looked at her, and I felt nothing. Just emptiness. A hollow, aching void where my heart used to be. So, I said, my voice flat, devoid of emotion, "What you're saying is, you want a divorce?" I already knew the answer. She looked shocked, like she hadn't expected me to say that. Like she thought she could keep pushing me, keep manipulating me, keep getting away with it. Like she thought I'd just keep taking it. "No," she said, her voice rising, a hint of panic in her eyes. "That's not what I said. I love you. I need you to change. I need you to be more fun, more exciting, more like them." And that's when I knew it was over. I knew there was no going back. "I'm not going to change, Lisa," I said. "I'm not going to become someone I'm not just to make you happy. And I'm not going to stay in a marriage where I'm constantly being compared to other people, where I'm constantly being made to feel like I'm not good enough, where I'm constantly being told that I'm boring." I took a deep breath, a shaky, ragged breath. "I want a separation. I think we need some time apart to figure out what we really want, to figure out if we even have a future together." It was an ultimatum, and I told her she could do whatever she wanted with her life, but I wouldn't just be waiting for her like a pet. I also told her, "I am done with you and your friends." She started to cry again, begging me to reconsider, saying she'd do anything, that she'd change, that she'd stop going out, that she'd be a better wife, but it was too late. The damage was done. The trust was broken. I've contacted a lawyer. I'm looking for a new place to live, just a small studio. I'm starting over, starting from scratch. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if we'll ever reconcile. I don't even know if I want to reconcile. I don't know if I can ever forgive her for any of it. But I do know this. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be respected. And I deserve to be with someone who loves me for who I am, not for who they wish I was. Someone who doesn't think I'm boring. I'll update. I'm not sure when. I think I need to get out of state, to my sisters. I just need space. A lot of space. And maybe a very, very large bottle of whiskey. Update 3. So, it's been a week. A week since I told Lisa I wanted a separation. A week since I packed a bag and drove to my sister, Olivia's place. A week since my life imploded. Olivia has been amazing. She's let me crash on her couch. She's listened to me rant for hours. She's made me countless cups of tea. And, okay, a few stiff drinks. And she's generally just been a rock. She's also, bless her heart, refrained from saying, "I told you so," even though she totally could have. She did say, "I always thought Lisa was a bit of a piece of work," which honestly was pretty validating. The first few days were a blur. I mostly just slept and cried and stared at the ceiling, wondering how everything had gone so wrong so fast. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck full of emotional baggage and unresolved issues. Then the anger set in. I was furious. At Lisa for treating me like crap, at myself for letting her, at her friends for existing, I guess. I was just angry at the whole damn situation. And then the sadness, the bone-deep, soul-crushing sadness. The realization that my marriage, the life I'd built with Lisa, was probably over. That the future I'd imagined, the future we'd planned, was gone. Poof, vanished. I haven't talked to Lisa much. A few texts, mostly logistical stuff. She's still at the house. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. We own it jointly, so it's going to be complicated and messy and probably expensive. My lawyer says we should try to mediate, but I don't know. I don't know if I can even look at her right now, let alone sit across a table from her and try to negotiate the terms of our separation, or more likely, our divorce. My parents are supportive, I guess. They're sad, of course. They like Lisa. Or, at least, they liked Lisa. But they also see how much pain I'm in. They've offered to let me stay with them, but I can't. I need my own space. I need to figure things out on my own. The hardest part, honestly, is the uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen. The feeling of being adrift, untethered, lost. I keep replaying the last few months in my head, trying to figure out where things went wrong, trying to pinpoint the exact moment when our marriage started to unravel. Was it the not fun comment? Was it something else? Was it me? I know logically that it's not all my fault, that Lisa's behavior was unacceptable, that she made choices, and those choices had consequences, but there's still this voice in my head, this nagging doubt that whispers, maybe if you'd just been more, this wouldn't have happened. And that's the voice I'm trying to silence, the voice I'm trying to fight, because I know deep down that it's not true. I know that I deserve to be loved and respected for who I am, not for who someone else wants me to be. But it's hard. It's really, really f***ing hard. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Still in limbo, still hurting, still trying to figure out what the hell to do next. I'll update again when I have something more concrete to report. For now, I'm just surviving, one day at a time. Update 4. Okay, Reddit, things have taken a turn, a very, very unexpected turn. After a couple of weeks of radio silence, aside from a few terse texts about bills and mail, Lisa contacted me. She said she wanted to talk in person. I was hesitant. I wasn't sure I was ready to see her. I wasn't sure I wanted to see her. But I also knew I couldn't avoid her forever. We had to figure things out one way or another. So I agreed to meet her at a neutral location, a coffee shop near our house. I figured it was public enough to prevent any major meltdowns, but private enough for us to have a real conversation. I got there first. I ordered a black coffee. I needed the caffeine and found a table in the back. I was nervous, anxious. My stomach was in knots. I kept checking my phone even though I knew she wouldn't text. Then she walked in and she looked different. She wasn't dressed in her usual going out clothes. No tight dresses, no high heels, no heavy makeup. She was wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and sneakers. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun. She looked normal and tired. She sat down across from me, and for a moment we just looked at each other. The silence was heavy, awkward. "Hi," she said, her voice soft, hesitant. "Hi," I replied. More silence. Then she started to talk, and what she said, well, it blew my mind. She apologized. Not a half-assed, "I'm sorry you feel that way" apology. A real, genuine, heartfelt apology. She said she'd been doing a lot of thinking, and apparently a lot of therapy, since I left. She said she realized how much she'd hurt me, how badly she'd messed up. She admitted that she'd been taking me for granted, that she'd been prioritizing her own needs, her own desires, over our relationship, that she'd been selfish and thoughtless and cruel. She said she'd been so focused on having fun and escaping the boredom of married life that she'd forgotten what was really important. She'd forgotten me. She said she'd been influenced by her friends, by their single lifestyle, by their constant pursuit of excitement. She said she'd gotten caught up in the idea of being young and free, even though she was, married. She said she'd realized that her fun had come at a cost, a huge cost, the cost of our marriage. And then she said something that really surprised me. She said she'd quit her job. "What?" I said. "Why?" She explained that her job, while well-paying, was also incredibly stressful and demanding. It required long hours, constant travel, and a lot of socializing with clients and colleagues. She said it had contributed to her feeling of being trapped and unfulfilled. She said she'd realized she needed a change, a big change. She said she'd always dreamed of opening her own bakery. It was something she'd talked about years ago when we first met, but she'd put it on hold because it seemed impractical, unrealistic. But now she was ready to take the leap. She'd already started looking for spaces, researching recipes, and putting together a business plan. She said she wanted to create something of her own, something that made her happy, something that wasn't about impressing other people, or keeping up appearances, or chasing some elusive idea of fun. And then she asked me for help, not financial help. She said she had enough savings to get started. She asked for emotional support. She asked for my advice, my expertise. She reminded me that I'd always been good at business, at strategy, at making things happen. She said she valued my opinion, my judgment, my sanity. She said she knew she'd messed up badly, and she knew she didn't deserve my forgiveness or my help, but she was asking for it anyway. She said she wanted to rebuild our marriage. She wanted to earn back my trust. She wanted to start over, and I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to tell her to go to hell, to tell her that it's too late, that she's ruined everything. Part of me wants to run away, to disappear, to start a new life somewhere far away from all this drama. But another part of me, a small, flickering, almost extinguished part of me, wants to believe her, wants to give her another chance, wants to see if we can salvage this mess. I just don't think I am strong enough to do that. So Reddit, I'm lost. I'm confused. I'm broken. What do I do? Do I give her another chance? Do I walk away? I don't even know. Help me, please. I'll check back in when I come to a conclusion. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.